Welcome to Fitness Forever TV with M&B,
your source for entertainment television,
where we explore all things health and wellness to help you achieve longevity and vitality.
We have a special show for you today. We're bringing back our friend Dr. Alan Molina.
Yes, and he's going to tell us all about a training mask, which a lot of people associate with altitude training.
Right, but Dr. Molina tells us otherwise.
And we're going to find out right now what he has to say about the training mask. Hey guys, I'm here with Dr. Alan Molina of the Champion Wellness of the Heights, and we're talking today with him about altitude training with the training mask. So, Dr. Alan Molina, can you tell us a little bit about the use of the training mask to prepare athletes for altitude events?
Okay, so I like to start off with that this does not prepare you for altitude. Okay, so there's no replacement for training at altitude to increase red blood cell production. The amount of altitude that you need to be in to increase that number is anywhere between 6,000 feet above sea level up to 11,000 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So this does not actually simulate altitude training, but what this does is called hypoxic training. So what that does is it decreases the oxygen intake that you're getting into the blood, and it helps the diaphragm take more powerful, stronger breaths, and that's how this can possibly help performance.
Possibly, because I've always heard that this type of training mask was used specifically for altitude training. So what you're saying though is that it's actually to help strengthen your diaphragm.
Correct.
Which will help you take deeper breaths.
Deeper breaths.
Okay.
So something that I like using this for is when I know that I'm going to go on a free diving spearfishing trip, what I'll do is I'll put this mask on and I'll breathe for about 10 to 30 minutes using good diaphragmatic breathing just to help me get that muscle stronger, so before I dive down I can take a deeper breath to go down under.
Yeah, because I've seen people who are preparing in the gym for whatever events actually wearing this while they train. Would you suggest that that's the proper way to get the most benefit out of that to help strengthen your diaphragm, or is it just a matter of wearing it and breathing through it for like a 20-minute period? Like, what would be most beneficial?
So there was a study out of Japan. They took participants for this study, and the study lasted about 8 weeks. And instead of using a training mask, they actually had a hypoxic room. So they took the participants of the study and they put them in the hypoxic room for 10 minutes before they exercised, and then removed themselves from the room, and then another 30 minutes after exercise. Now they had the control group was not in the hypoxic room, but both groups got bench press and bilateral leg press. So after 8 weeks, what they would do is they found some studies. So with that, they found an increase in growth hormone, an increase in capillary to fiber ratio, and increased vascular endothelial growth factor. So in short, an easy way to say that the hypoxic group was better able to restore O2 supplies because of the lack of oxygen and going to the tissues. So an easier way said than done. It could be a placebo. I mean, they did find findings with that has increased that bit of performance, but we all know placebo is a hell of a drug. So if it makes you mentally tougher, then it helps you. Now, there is some caveat to that. If you have any pre-existing heart conditions, using the training mask does elevate blood pressure. It does, if you're dizzy or prone to dizziness, it can make you dizzy while you're using that. So if you're hypertensive, on any type of blood pressure medications, I would not recommend using that mask unless you consult your doctor.
So I myself have never used a training mask, but I thought I would because I have an event potentially still scheduled in August. And for someone who's never used a training mask, how would you suggest to start using it? Should I just put it on and start training right away, or like what would your suggested use of that be for someone starting out?
I would go to the lowest setting possible on this mask. This comes with different ways to reduce the oxygen inflow, so I would go on the easiest setting and train with that. So again, I don't use this while I'm training. I use it before, and I breathe heavily in there, and then I take it off and then I train.
So just immediately before your dive, or for whatever.
I'll use it up to the dive.
Up to the dive. And for how long would you do that for? Let's say that you knew you had X amount of time to prepare for a dive. Would you wear this in conjunction with the length of time that your training program is leading up to your event?
So I would start at 10 minutes and I would go up from there.
Okay, and is there a max time that you would recommend it to stop at, or is there?
Personally, I don't go longer than 30 minutes.
Okay, 10.
But again, you want good diaphragmatic breathing. So when you inhale, you should see that your stomach is expanding and growing bigger, and as you exhale, you should see that your stomach's going in. That's proper diaphragmatic breathing. Now, because Americans are so sedentary, we lose that ability, or they forget that ability, how to use their diaphragm to breathe, and they use those secondary muscles to breathe. And usually you can see that when a person inhales, that their stomach's going in and their shoulders are rising. So you can take a few minutes even after you watch this video, just sit down, put your hand on top of your belly, and then when you inhale, you should feel your stomach expand, and as you exhale, you feel your stomach retract.
Yeah. So and that would be the proper technique on when you're wearing the training mask to get the benefit of actually strengthening your diaphragm versus not really inhaling improperly and not getting the benefit out of it.
Correct. So after that study in Japan, they said high intensity, short-term, and intermittent training is the best way to get the use out of this mask. Pre-exercise and post-exercise.
Pre and post-exercise. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And now
You're
that
welcome.
we have some basic information on how to get started, let us know if you've tried out the training mask and what your results are, and we'll see how this works for me personally down the road.
Awesome.
So there's a lot more to it than I even thought.
I know, that was really informative. Like all this time I thought, altitude training mask. Really, it's to help strengthen your diaphragm.
Yeah, and I talked to my runners about that, but I never go into that type of detail, which was great.
Yeah, that was really great. And actually, I had the opportunity for Alan to coach me through that breathing technique. So,
Really?
yeah, we got some footage of that.
Cool, let's check it out.
So I want you to do, Melissa, go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that as you breathe in, you're filling out every single square inch of your lungs. Breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. You're going to expand your stomach, breathe that all the way in. So your stomach should be coming and rising. And then as you exhale, all the way back out. So nice deep breath, all the way down. Stomach should rise. And exhale. Do you feel the resistance of the mask? Good. Do one more. Good.
So what did that feel like?
Like I was taking a deep breath.
Yeah? Well, so you said that you felt the resistance. Where do you think that would help you? Now we're getting away from the science of it, but just how did it feel, and how would you think it would feel if you were doing, running, or if you were doing maximum reps with that?
Oh yeah, definitely more efficient, but I think there's a learning curve there on actually how to do that technique. So it's really important to, visualize as you take in your air to have your belly expanding.
Yeah.
So practice that. I think that would be really helpful because I think a lot of people need to create that mind-body connection.
I think it also might help out with, because I have the same issue, is that sometimes I go into bad habits and I'm lifting, and when I'm doing the positive, that I'm not blowing out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might actually help me to get that mind-body connection to actually remember to breathe out, not breathe in on the positive.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
Learning something.
yeah.
She's teaching me something out here.
Well,
But-
we're teaching each other.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're teaching you guys a little bit too, and
Yeah, and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. And you know what? If you've ever used one of these training masks, please give us a comment. Tell us how you felt, and then we can share it with everybody else.
Yeah, and we're also going to link down below to that Japanese study on the training mask.
And we'll have a place for you to actually go buy the training mask.
Yeah, so tell us your thoughts.
And we'll see you on the next video, but for now, stay motivated.